Thank you all for coming to this year's 2018 and second annual high school business plan competition. This could not be possible without my advisors, William Dugan and David G. We'd all like to thank you for coming and the applicants for applying. This obviously would not be possible with all the work that my executive board puts on this entire school year. I'm the president, Hunter Driscoll. Kristen Holton is our chief operations officer. She's currently not here right now. Brandon Kinnert is right there. Casey Seidel is our chief competitions officer. This is really his baby. Henry Bernhagen, he's our chief marketing officer. And Zara Habib, who is our chief recruiting officer. Feel free to connect with us on social media. We are UWWCEO on both Facebook and Twitter. And also you can find us at uwwceo.com where you have a lot of updates, information about future competitions. Also feel free to tweet hashtag Midwest Business BPC Business Plan Competition or post on Instagram. Special thank you to our sponsors, our gold sponsors, Generator, CSA Partners, Ward 4, Sentient, America's SBDC, USASB, First Citizen State Bank, and Northwestern Mutual. And a special thank you to the Dr. Deborah S. Malwicki Endowment for Entrepreneurship in the Whitewater University Technology Park. Our agenda for the night, I will already introduce you to the CEO officers. I will introduce you to the judges, the pitch finalist introductions, and we'll have the finalist pitches, a judges review session where they'll deliberate and talk about what their rankings are. I will announce the winners. We will present the checks and the certificates, and then we will wrap up the competition. And after this, from 5 to 5:30, there will be food out there. And at 5:30 to 7, we will have the collegiate Warhawk Business Plan competition, so feel free to stick around for that also. So now it's time to introduce your judges. Peter Layton, he's a partner at Blackthorn Capital Management. He's a chairman of Box Operations Exchange. And he's a managing member of Warhawk Entrepreneurial Fund. We have Sumner Webster, CEO of Iron Forge Development, a Bachelor of Arts and Science from Harvard University and MBA from Johns Hopkins University. Jim Lindenberg, president of Lindy Enterprises, sold a world-class wire and cable to Annixter in 2008. Owned and managed world-class health and fitness, NX Level, Milwaukee Wave, 501c Wave of Hope, Legends of Field, and Master Z's. We have Patrick Snyder, executive director for USASB, grew and sourced Shoreline Magazine at age 27. Patrick has a BA in communications from Eastern Illinois University. And Kevin Kaufman, director of Small Business Development Center and Wisconsin Innovation Service. He's a University of Wisconsin Whitewater graduate and leads consulting efforts to small and medium-sized businesses in southeastern Wisconsin. Now I'll introduce your finalists. Claire Darmstadter with Root. She's a junior at Sun Prairie High School. Madeline Eggert, Stems and Blossoms. She's a sophomore at Elkhorn Area High School. Mike Henry from Rock River Tutoring, and he's a senior at Parker High School. Matthew Hall, he's custom 3D print mouthpieces. He's a sophomore at Elkhorn Area High School. And Maggie Marock and Diamond Oren with Air Charge Unplugged. They are freshmen at Elkhorn Area High School. We'll have you guys present in this exact order: Claire, Madeline, Mike, Matthew, and then Maggie and Diamond. And with that, we will start with the competition.
In 2009, just 1% of the population identified as vegetarian. Since then, that figure has grown by over 600%, with another 10% or 33 million identifying as vegetarian client. Yet, dining options for vegetarians remain very limited, often consisting of salads with limp greens and some walnuts if you're lucky. That's not going to cut it. Done are the days of vegetarian food being unimaginative, uncustomizable, overpriced, and often unavailable. Introducing Root, Madison's first fast casual vegetarian restaurant. I'm seeking $40,000 in exchange for a 20% stake in my company. So why Madison? Despite the stereotypical Wisconsin lifestyle of beer, brats, burgers, and bars, Madison separates itself, being ranked the 7th healthiest city in America. Plus, we're situated right in the heart of a college campus. So how is it going to work? Through our BYOB, or Build Your Own Bowl, fast casual model, customers are given full latitude to create their meals any way they would like. Vegetarian, vegan, lactose intolerant, gluten-free, we got you. Root is here to prove that healthy and vegetarian eating can be healthy and delicious. We have the opportunity for customers to create their own pastas, soups, grain bowls, and salads if they so choose. For kids, we have our mini Roots menu consisting of half-size portions of classic favorites. Both start at $7.25 per piece, which creates 66% margins and 191% markup. So for our target market, we have an expected market, one part being UW college students, as well as 20 to 30-year-old vegan, health-conscious individuals. But we also have a challenge market, one part of that being children to foster those healthy eating, sustainable practices from a young age, as well as those unsure of plant-based lifestyles and need proof that it can be tasty and affordable, because it's more than just salads. We're here to expand vegetarian eating to as many people as possible. For competitors, we have two, but here's why we don't consider them to be large threats. The first is Green Owl Cafe. Props to them for being the one Madison restaurant that is vegetarian. However, they're located so far from downtown, they have real trouble attracting many customers, plus their food is quite expensive. Then there's Forage Kitchen. They have a better location, however, they identify themselves as a salad shop. We recognize this trend with businesses really promoting themselves as just a salad shop, and we're here providing more opportunities to show that vegetarian food is more than just salads. So our competitive advantage lies mainly in our location. We're set to be located under a 12-story apartment complex, and it receives a walkability score of 99 out of 100, providing optimal accessibility for all students on campus. Through our fast casual business model, this streamlines the food service process, allowing us to lower costs and therefore deliver our bowls to customers at lower prices. We also secured a partnership with Red Card, a student dining program with over 7,500 students to better reach our market. So for the team, we have myself as well as my cousin Eric. We're both vegetarians, but what does Eric bring to the table? So he's a 28-year-old graduate of the UW-Madison Business Administration program. He also has a recently completed culinary degree from Madison College. He is lucky enough to have emerged from school debt-free, and through his work, he has managed multiple Madison restaurants, and through his wife's work, he has health benefits. But it wouldn't have all been possible without the help of these individuals. Our second team, those providing consultation on financials, marketing, local sourcing, anything you can think of. Why are we not going to end up like the 66% of businesses that fail within the first year? We have these people to thank, especially our local sourcers who have already agreed to be partners. So how's this all going to work? I am still in high school after all. One of the members of our second team is Karen Kelly. She's a COO of Sweetgreen, a national salad restaurant chain. Last summer, I had the opportunity to interview her, and through that, she offered me the opportunity to be a digital marketing and management intern at their Chicago location this summer. Late summer and early fall, we're going to be selling some of our bowls at the Dane County Farmers Market, working with Young Earth Farms, one of our local sourcers, who are gracious enough to provide us the assistance to do so. We're going to be preparing our food at a really cool place called the Food Enterprise and Economic Development, or FEED, which is a place that rents out kitchen space exactly for our purpose. We're expecting the farmers market to be a wash, so we're not doing it for the profit, more just to spread the word about Root. I'm going to be continuing to take business and culinary classes senior year. However, I have enough credits that I'm able to graduate early. So as of January, I'll be able to focus solely on Root and the business. Root is set to open in August of 2019, just in time for students arriving back on campus, and I'll be taking a gap year the first year in order to really run the business and get it going. So to support my financial request, here's some of our highlights. Year-end profits are estimated to be around $15,000 with conservative figures. Aggressive figures would put us around $32,000. It's important to note that all of our projections were based upon these conservative figures because a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs fall into the trap of being overly aggressive in their figures, which can result in issues later down the road. It's also important to note that myself and Eric will not be taking a salary the first year to keep as much money in the business as possible. All the financial information and some additionals can be seen on the sheet in front of you. So looking ahead, we hope to expand to a second location on the other side of campus and or purchase the location that we're going to be currently renting. We also hope to create a program called Little Sprouts, working in Madison schools to foster those healthy and sustainable practices from an early age. We're hoping to expand our digital presence through online ordering capabilities with Eat Street. So as demonstrated, vegetarian and plant-based eating is one of the quickest growing trends in food. Madison is an untapped market, and through our location, customization, and local sourcing, Root cannot be beat. So who wants to help us grow our roots? Is there any further questions at this point?
On your evaluation, how do you come up with that?
So what I kind of looked at, if you can see on the sheet on the top, it kind of looks at, there's two options to determine your valuation. You can look at, it's on the front of your sheet actually, you can do about 4 times your year 2 profits, or you can do 0.3 to 0.4 times your revenue. And we kind of looked at numbers in between that, and that's how we arrived at our $200,000 valuation.
So you you source locally, are you going to be able to source locally annually all year round?
Yep.
Even with dead of winter?
Yeah, so that's one thing about Wisconsin, right? We're in a place where you don't have the best growing year round. But actually, there's a lot of greenhouse growing, and we factor that into our financials. So on the bottom half, that kind of shows the cost of our goods. We've taken that into consideration with our average price per bowl being averaged between the more expensive winter seasons, but also our cheaper summer seasons. We have a contingency plan set up with some, farther away sourcers that aren't as local in case these greenhouses aren't able to supply us with stuff in the winter.
Can you tell me the staffing of your store?
Yeah.
How many people are there and what are they doing?
Yeah, so we are going to have myself and Eric, obviously, but then we're also going to have 2 managers as well as the equivalent of about 4 or 5 full-time equivalent line servers and then 2 full-time equivalent food prepper busboys. Obviously, being a college campus, students aren't able to work, a full-time, so we're going to have more staff as part of that, but having, a standard that many people in the store at any given time.
Any plans for breakfast?
So currently we're set to be open, 10 a.m. to about 10 p.m. In the future, we can look to a breakfast expansion. There's some options with tortillas and eggs, and so it can kind of evolve into more of a breakfast thing. But we're starting with lunch and dinner just to get going with future expansion opportunities.
So I guess how are you guys marketing this? In the first month, it's $2,000, and then beyond that, are you guys counting on word of mouth or?
Yep, so we have some upfront marketing costs, obviously, with just getting our branding and getting those things established. The biggest one is Red Card. So, 7,500 students are on it, and that really provides great ways to spread because, when they come to the campus, they all get that. But then also there's, the small promotions of having local runs to be kind of that health-focused, working in the schools, obviously, that's kind of coming up later, having merchandise, some because, it's kind of an earthy logo, and so kids kind of like that kind of thing to wear around. Also, having social media, and it's really important with social media marketing that you can't just say, we're going to do social media marketing, because everyone says that, but you need to have a really effective laid out plan so that you're targeting the individuals that you want to reach. And I think myself and Eric, being the young individuals that we are, we kind of know what our market wants to see, so we're able to plan things so they're able to reach our target market.
Do you have a limit on the kind of salaries you're going to draw after this is up and running? I know the first year you take nothing.
Yep.
What is your rule of thumb?
So we would kind of be basing around standard, restaurant salaries going forward. Year 2 projections put us around $58,000, so still kind of like, oh, we're not sure if we want to take salaries. My partner, Eric, his wife, has a stable job, so it's not where he's in a situation where he's financially concerned. Obviously myself, I want to kind of, start making income with myself not going to college, but just kind of looking around the standard, what someone in my position would be taking, and then kind of working up from there as the business grows and we have room to take bigger salaries.
Will you be able to sustain a single location with both of you working there if, for whatever reason, the second location doesn't happen in the time frame you hope?
If it doesn't happen?
Yep.
Yeah, we think there's many ways to grow. There's location being another option, but just spreading the word about what Root is doing, as well as us just, getting as big as possible. You don't necessarily need 2 locations. There's other options with the Eat Street ordering, delivering to offices where you can expand without having to physically expand.
We have time for one more question, if there are any.
You did a great job presenting.
Thank you.
You really know your stuff.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Madeline Eggert and the name of my startup is Stems and Blossoms. So Stems and Blossoms is focused on the lack of women in STEM and inspiring young girls as the future of STEM to kind of pursue the path of science, technology, engineering, or math. So our main problem is that STEM is a very male-dominated field, and only about 35% of it is made up of women. So for young girls, that can seem intimidating or unappealing to them. And then having STEM in your school as your math class or your science class, that can be maybe a little boring to young girls and really anyone. And so that's what our solution is focused on, is having workshops and classes that are focused on the interests of young girls. So things like maybe the science behind cooking or what's in their iPad or behind the scenes in their favorite movies with special effects and things like that. These classes would expose them to STEM in a more appealing way and show them what STEM is about so that they can think about pursuing it in the future for a career. Our target market, our main one, is girls between the ages of 11 and 15. And this comes from a study done by Microsoft that says girls generally gain interest in STEM around 11, but by the time they're 15, if it wasn't nourished, then they lose that interest. So the 11 to 15 would be starting off with classes, becoming a member, and then moving into the 15 to 20 range. That would be for the higher level classes, the more real world focused stuff, and scholarship opportunities. So how it works. There are two main paths that you can take, but they can crisscross, and so the first is that students enroll in a course, and then you finish the course and you earn a badge, and you collect the badges, and then that opens the door to other opportunities like job shadows, apprenticeships. You could mentor the younger students, you could tutor them in their math and science, or college scholarships. Then the second path also leads into those opportunities, and so students and their families can become members, and then the membership allows you access to an open studio space, so kind of like a maker space where it's just a big room filled with machines that they can go use with their families, and having classes on how to use those things. They can make some cool projects, maybe earn some awards, things like that. So two main types of competition. The schools, because of their STEM programs, mainly the elementary and middle school age, they have the advantage of being very well known because they're a school, and they have easy access to students and their families. However, they're restricted by gender rules, so a club after school has to be for boys and girls, and they're also restricted by the school funding. Other companies would be a big part of the competition as well. So Girls Who Code is a company out there, and Young Engineers is a franchise. They have the advantage of an existing customer base. However, Young Engineers, and they are not focused on just girls, which is what Stems and Blossoms is all about. And both of them only have workshops. They don't offer the studio space as well for the families. There are three main streams of revenue: community events, which would be conferences in the community with speakers and vendors and activities for the kids. And then classes and memberships is the other one, or the other two. Classes would be paid for separately from memberships. Memberships get you into the studio space, while classes are just after school, summer camps, things like that. So our milestones: February was when I came up with the idea and I started creating a business plan. April would be today, pitching it to you guys. June of this year, launching to potential investors. March of next year, launching to potential partner schools to get the word out there about the business. And then August of 2020, holding the first community event. This is our current team. Me, Maddie Eggert. I use what I learned in my entrepreneurship class to create and run Stems and Blossoms, and I use what I've learned from being in after-school robotics clubs and things like that, and my interests in STEM, to know the problems behind having very few girls. And then Maria Parks is an advisor. She is currently in college, and she uses what she's learned about teaching STEM in summer school and those after-school clubs that I've been in to provide guidance to Stems and Blossoms. Thank you for listening, and thanks for helping inspire.
5 minutes for judge's question.
Just that
comment, you've come a long way in a short time. You started putting this together a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You did a good job in a couple months putting it all together.
Thank you.
How big are the classes and workshops?
Probably about 15 to 20 students.
And then how much will you pay the instructors?
Probably not a huge amount, like a part-time kind of thing, so we can kind of rotate through instructors.
Have you looked at local partnerships in terms of local companies that are kind of, I guess, going after the same problem, whether it's the university or through other affiliates?
Not yet. The main thing that I've kind of thought about is schools, maybe like talking at a school or getting some teachers involved, teaching them how to incorporate STEM into their classrooms, things like that.
How are you going to put your curriculum together? Do you have different coaches or people that will write it? Packages?
I think just kind of the focus of things that are interesting, and so talking to maybe families with younger girls to gain some insight into what they want to see, and then talking to some teachers as well.
I think again, if you bring the corporations in, which was touched on, a lot of companies are looking for people in that area.
Yeah.
And they might be good partners, good sponsors, could be a source of revenue for you also.
Maybe even space to have it at, so they don't have to pay.
Yes, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
And curriculum. I mean, they'll have all of this, and they're really struggling to connect with each other. I mean, even if you can bridge the gap, that can be a huge play, and it's something that's needed in the space.
What's the plan on this space to have the workshops? Have you looked at leases and?
It would have to be a really big space, because I was thinking probably having the classrooms like on one end and then the studio on the other end, so that it's all together.
Last question, judges.
They've come a long way since starting, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Mike Henry. I'm a senior from Parker High School in Janesville, Wisconsin. My startup idea is Rock River Tutoring. It's an idea that I founded back in October of this year in an entrepreneurship class. It's a relatively new idea, and I'd like to start with one number and 4 words. The one number is 227. The private tutoring industry is likely to reach $227 billion in value by 2022. That's due to the fact of international competition. Huge amounts of international competition among middle school and high school students become successful in the collegiate world and beyond. These are the 4 principles that the industry is ran on that also play part in my startup idea. Access to tutoring, guidance, diligence, and curiosity to learn more. Let's start with the problem. There are no physical tutoring businesses, locations in Janesville, 0. There are 2 major options that are very popular with kids. The first option is to go on care.com and type in tutors for math. Maybe it's unreputable, the person that comes to your house to teach your kid. Maybe it's not. Or you could drive 40 minutes to Loves Park, Illinois, go to a Sylvan Learning Center and pay a lot to be put into a corporate atmosphere, which is a franchise. Sylvan is a franchise. Be put into a corporate atmosphere and not necessarily get that one-to-one feel that you like with a more private tutor. Aside from the lack of physical locations, transportation is also a problem. Kids having the resources, especially in middle school when you don't have a driver's license, obviously, to get to a private tutor. And also forming an intellectual culture is a theme that you hear a lot about in education. Having a network at home that can support your educational needs. We at Rock River Tutoring look to bridge these gaps and provide these conveniences to our customers. So the question is now, who is our customer? Initially, our business will be located in downtown Janesville. That is our physical location. We look to serve the markets of Beloit and Milton, Wisconsin.
A great thing is to spread the word about our customers and about our business is through Twitter. Twitter is, in my opinion, the best platform for entrepreneurship and social media outreach today. You can count how many impressions you have. There's a great data analytics platform that we can monitor our growth and any expansion that we do in the future. So, I have two different distinct audiences that I have to market to. Parents make the buying decisions for their kids when they're tutoring. That is perhaps the most important. If the parents do not trust our tutoring services, they're not going to send their kids there. So, after the parents are satisfied with our tutoring services and we satisfy that quality requirement, the kids obviously want to come. We need to make sure the kids have a satisfactory experience. The kids will be comprised of middle school and high school students. Here are the services we provide to them. Middle school students will be our middle school curriculum. Franklin, Edison, and Marshall Middle School are the Janesville area middle schools. Besides that, in high school, you have the high school curriculum plus a huge market, perhaps the biggest in online tutoring, which is test prep, SAT, ACT, and AP tests, all essential for getting into competitive universities. So here's the niche of Rock River Tutoring. It's a dual-facet tutoring scheme. First of all, you have your physical location. If I'm a tangible learner, or I like working one-on-one with an instructor, I can easily go into our physical location and pay an hourly rate to one of our tutors. That's our revenue. We'll get to that. I sit down with the tutor, and I talk to them that way. Otherwise, I can either supplement my physical lessons or go strictly online. So that's our dual facet. We can work one off the other. You can go strictly online, or you can be strictly on location. So here are some customer touch points that we like to have. There are two distinct paths. The first path starts in the website. When a student hears about us, either on Twitter or word of mouth, they'll go to our website to look at our services. After they go to the website services, they'll look at our physical location and they say, I want to be there. I want to go get a physical lesson. I'm a tangible learner. I like to see what people are doing. Then, if they'd like to supplement their lesson, say, oh, well, I won't be available on Friday to come in, but I will have access to a computer online. Sounds great. We can meet with you at 4 o'clock in a webinar-based setting then. Otherwise, the other track a customer can take is going from the website, learning about our company, or then saying, I'm not really into the one-on-one tutoring in-person session. I would rather work online. Go online. They see our great webinar services. They email us, get our contact information, meet with an instructor in person or online, and go from there. They can also explore other videos. We will have free content online, part of an introduction and part of our promotional codes to say, type in this promotional code and you can see this video previewing our tutoring service. On a revenue basis, we will be charging an hourly wage, on an hourly rate for online and physical tutoring services. The physical tutoring services will be a bit more expensive per hour than the online because of convenience. So here are our competitors. Chegg Tutors is a strictly online tutoring service. There are no face-to-face tutors, so we're essentially limiting our market to kids who only would like to work online that don't struggle when they don't have access to a physical tutor. Otherwise, Khan Academy is not a tutoring service, but it's a very widespread and popular educational service. They publish many videos on YouTube and on their website about a variety of topics. Here's a basic management structure of Rock River Tutoring. I'm Mike Henry, the Chief Executive Officer, and we have 5 instructors that are either online or that can work in the physical location. They're all part-time. This is pretty interesting about our staffing. We can either work with, because it's part-time, we can either work with retired high school teachers that love to come in and substitute the local schools. Now, we can give them another option.
Mike, I know you're going to touch on this, so I'll just give you the opportunity. Let's talk about your revenue model real quickly in terms of online versus, what do you think your pricing is going to be?
Sure. I wrote out a 13-page business plan for in the entrepreneurship class about Rock River Tutoring. The physical in-person services marketed to middle-class to upper-class kids, high school and middle school kids, will be around $45 per hour of private tutoring. Otherwise, online, it would be around $20 to $25 an hour. And that would be recorded screen time, so you wouldn't get charged more for screen time that you don't get with a tutor.
The name Rock River Tutoring, how did you come up with Rock River?
The Rock River runs straight through the middle of Janesville, and our building is in downtown Janesville, right next to the Rock River, a beautiful 2-story building that used to be I believe, a ballet and dance room.
So you want to just cater to that area and that area only?
Not necessarily the area only, the physical location, yes, to that area. But the Rock River tutoring will eventually, through our social media and marketing practices, will spread through our online base to other areas.
How will you keep up the curriculum if you've got mixed, you've got Janesville and Beloit and Milton?
Mm-hmm. Right, that's a great question. What we'll do is focus on the standardized classes. AP classes are standardized. They're supposed to be standardized throughout the nation. There are books. They have to be registered and approved by the College Board. We'll focus on that curriculum. The standardized tests are straightforward, and we'll also work with the Wisconsin Department of Instruction, the Wisconsin DPI, to know more about the curriculum every year.
Do you know your margin on each student?
Yes, the margin on each student is 20%. Yes.
I guess we've seen it's kind of Free Code Camp is one that's really taken off on the virtual space, and they leverage the community of peer-to-peer learning, right? Do you have any intent of providing students the ability to leverage each other as a resource in addition to your tutors?
Work on each other? Yes, this is an interesting point that I forgot to touch on in the staffing. Another source we have for staffing is our college students who are recently graduated from high school. So they're students, they've been in the shoes of these high school and middle school kids. They can go off each other. And I would also like to add a chat room. That's a great point. I would also like to add a chat room to the tutoring service. What did you get for question 9 on the math homework last night? Here it is. They can help each other out that way, yes.
You mentioned that getting to the location was a barrier for this being successful. How do you get the people to the location?
Well, the website and the webinar setting, if they cannot get to the location, if it's too big of a barrier for them, that's a great opportunity for them. So instead of providing opportunities that we can't control, like giving them a car or whatnot, or encouraging them to be there, we encourage them to go with a webinar opportunity. Otherwise, we will work with the students individually to see if they can arrange transportation needs. They can work privately with other students, if they can carpool, anything that they would like to have at their disposal as far as access. We want to work with them to get them either in our store or on our webinar.
And the employees are outside contractors or employed by your company?
They're contracted to Rock River Tutoring. They could either be retired, so technically they would be our employees only, or they could be Blackhawk Tech professors or assistant professors, for example, that after hours want to pick up some extra work. So they could say, I'm available for webinars with students relating to math from 4 to 6 p.m. today. That's what it would look like.
You're going after the local schools in Janesville specifically. Why not just set up shop right next door? Get as close as you can instead of trying to figure out, I guess, a central location.
Right. Because Janesville has 12 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 2 high schools, the downtown location is symbolically a Janesville-esque area assigned with the Rock River Tutoring name. Will give it, I believe, brand recognition to the area.
Good job.
Thank you. This for you.
Good afternoon. My name is Matthew Hall. I come from Elkhorn Area School District, and this is my idea for a business, and that's 3D printed student mouthpieces. So if you don't know, instrument mouthpieces can be very expensive. $71 is the average cost of a tenor trombone mouthpiece. $79 is an average cost of a tuba mouthpiece. $50 is an average cost of a trumpet mouthpiece. It's lucky trumpetists. How can we solve this problem? Easy. 3D printed mouthpieces. They're cheap, they're easy to manufacture, and they have great sound quality for the price that they can be bought at. An estimated price of a 3D mouthpiece, $7 to $10. Why? Because of the cost efficiency of the filament used in the 3D printing process. Really, the only costs come from sanding down the mouthpiece afterwards to get all the little nubs of plastic that may be left over from the process off. Since it can be sold very inexpensively, it makes it available to a wider range of people. It mainly targets student musicians because I mean, they're younger, they're not committed to music. It can be very daunting to spend $70 on a mouthpiece and even more for the instrument. It might put some people off. This aims to kind of subdue that problem. You don't need to deal with as steep of a price. The competition, locally in Elkhorn, it'd be Breber Music. They have a good foothold on the business there, and they're really the only music store that's around for quite a ways. Nationally, it'd be the big name music stores such as Holton and other large companies that have been endorsed by very large music names such as Maynard Ferguson, that sort of thing. Our milestones. So this idea it's pretty new. It's been incubating for just this year. It started out when a freshman in our band class named Ryan Maddox utilized the school's printer to print a mouthpiece. He got curious. He went online, he found some blueprints that were available, and he went to Mr. Butters, who helps run the 3D printer, and he printed one off. And when he played, he discovered that not only did it sound almost exactly like a metallic mouthpiece, it made it even easier to hit high notes. When other students heard this, they also wanted a 3D printed mouthpiece, because being able to hit those higher notes is a pretty good skill for any musician, and it can really help in certain situations. Given that this is a pretty new idea, we haven't had very many milestones yet. That's not to say we don't have any plan for the future, but as of right now, it's a pretty new idea, and it's tough to see where it will go. How much of an investment would this need, and how would it be utilized? An initial investment of $1,000 is really all you need. I mean, all you need, at least in the start, would be a 3D printer and to be able to purchase the non-toxic filament along with sanding materials. The non-toxic filament, because you need to print the mouthpieces, and a 3D printer because you can't print a mouthpiece if you don't have a 3D printer. And then sanding can be done by anyone with a little expertise in that field, and it wouldn't be difficult to find someone to do that for cheap or to do it ourselves. That's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
As far as the market, obviously a lot of people are into this. Can you describe the market a little bit?
The music market is pretty large, and it's been ever expanding since music has begun. And obviously this is aimed more towards student musicians, and as you may know, students enroll every year, and many of them would like to try musical instruments. But that's not our only market. We don't have to sell to just students, and there are quite a few musicians who might love to go and get themselves a mouthpiece for this cheaper price, maybe as a replacement, maybe as a backup. Not to mention, since it's more of a plastic-based variety, it is a very useful thing to have in the cold, especially when you're marching, because unlike a metallic mouthpiece, it doesn't freeze your lips when you try to play it after you've let your instrument sit in the cold after a while.
Are there unique plans for each? Does every tuba have the exact same mouthpiece, or does this brand of tuba have a different mouthpiece from that brand, and where do you get those plans?
Instruments can have different mouthpieces, and they can be in varying sizes, but for the most part, it is almost all universal, and you can find the plans pretty much online everywhere. It's very simple to go and search it up, and there are multiple websites that offer these schematics for download or for use, and yeah.
So why 3D printing and not injection molded plastic then?
3D printing, because 3D printing is such an automated process, it doesn't take a lot and it sets pretty quickly. So all you need to do is hit on the printer really and monitor it to make sure nothing goes wrong with the printer, and then remove the mouthpiece when it's done, and it goes on to create another one. Yes?
With 3D printing, you can have all the easy low levels of customization. Do you think you're going to include something like that, so different colors or initials, or, you know, because injection molding can be for a low cost?
Yes. I do think that we would be able to do that, and we can even have people, if they want to, submit their own schematics to us if they want something printed themselves, like if they want their initials on their mouthpiece, that's something that we can do if they give us the schematics, or maybe later we can expand into creating the schematics ourselves.
What are your resales going to be?
Our resales?
Yeah, you showed like what it costs now.
Oh, what it costs now. That's mainly to get us off the ground. Calculating the exact price of a mouthpiece is kind of difficult because it depends on how much filament is used and how much the filament costs at that time. But if this continues like this, we can maybe even lower the cost from what it is right now. It really depends on how things change in the future and how the market fluctuates.
So if it's $9 now, how much would you charge for it? That's what, if it
If
costs
it costs you
$9.
$9 to produce.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
if it
you
costs us
charge.
$9 to produce, that was, the price I had up there was an estimated cost for customers. It would cost much less than $9 to produce. Yeah, it's mainly the filament that would take up most of the cost.
Time for one more question.
How many kids in band in school, in your school?
In our school? That's a very difficult question. I'd like to say 65, around, rough estimate. It's not a small group.
Being a musician on the side.
Good afternoon. My name is Diamond Orr, and this is Maggie Maroc. We're from Elk Run Area High School, and we are the CEOs of AirCharge. Our goal is to help students one charge at a time. AirCharge solves two problems. The first problem we face is students come to school with their school-issued technology, such as iPads or Chromebooks, uncharged. But now that technology is such a big thing around the world, and it's frequently used for education nowadays, it negatively impacts their learning.
The second problem that AirCharge faces is that in periphery countries such as Malawi, which has a GDP of $596 per year, the infrastructure in these countries is underdeveloped, which means that they have little to no access to technology, which negatively impacts their students' learning because they don't have the same opportunities that we have in the United States.
The solution to these problems is AirCharge. AirCharge enables school technology to be charged within the classroom. So if students come to school with it uncharged, doesn't matter. All while donating 20% of our profits to underdeveloped schools to provide technology. So how it works. The first step is schools visit our website, select their number of AirCharge units they want, and their service plan. Step number 2 is that an AirCharge authorized distributor installs the AirCharge units and trains teachers, school staff, and students how to use it.
Step 3 is each school in Africa is paired with a sister school in the United States through Kickstart International, which is a nonprofit organization that helps to provide technology to underdeveloped countries. And the school in Africa receives 20% of the profits that we make from our sales with their sister school. And throughout the school year, the two schools work on joint projects to help expose each school and their students to the different cultures on the different continents.
We have two main competitors. Our first main competitor is Power by Proxy. Power by Proxy has two positive points to its device. One, it's wireless charging, and along with phones, it also charges wearables such as Apple Watches and AA batteries. But it also has a couple downfalls. One, it has recently stopped personal production because it was bought out by Apple. 2, it's only compatible with certain models of phones. And 3, it cannot charge tablets or laptops.
Our second competitor is PowerMat, which is a wireless charging device that is compatible with most phone models, and it is able to charge larger scale devices such as tablets or laptops. But there are 3 downfalls to PowerMat. The device that's being charged has to be plugged into a power adapter, which kind of takes away from the fact that it's supposed to be a wireless charging device. And it is not compatible with older phone models such as an iPhone 6 or a Galaxy S6. And it's a larger scale company, which means that it may not be as focused on customer service as a smaller scale company such as ours is. The 3 ways that we bring in money is through the plan, the installation plus the plan, and the plan plus the installation plus service fees. We have 3 plans, Basic, Plus, and Pro, and there are 3 add-ons for common areas such as the library or school offices. Installation and service calls, which if you purchase service calls, you get 2 per year.
So here's our AirCharge team. Our first person we have is Maggie Maroc. She's a CEO alongside me. She uses her excellent leadership skills and her strong interpersonal skills to lead the AirCharge team.
This is Diamond Orange. She is a co-CEO alongside myself. I'm Maggie. She uses her fantastic communicative skills along with strong critical thinking skills to lead AirCharge.
This is Brian Frost. He's our business partner. He's a principal at Elk Area Middle School, so he only works part-time. He has been the principal for 6 years, so he helps with both introducing new ideas and helping school-related issues.
This is Shane Bilesma. He is a master electrical engineer from Illinois, and he is here to help us with all of our engineering needs. Here are our milestones that we have already accomplished and hope to accomplish and we will accomplish in the future. In February, we discovered our startup and began creating partnerships.
In March, we chose our organization to donate to, which was Kickstart.
In June, we are planning to hire and train a strong team.
In August, we will find clients like local school districts to build consumer relationships with.
And in October of this year, we are going to start planning for our national launch in 2019.
Connect,
charge,
done.
AirCharge, powering global learning.
So you're expecting the schools to pay for the product and the services?
Yes.
And then what does it look like? So is it?
Well, it would be like, I think it would be probably 1 foot by 1 foot, and it'll be able to be attached to the ceiling, so you won't even be able to see it.
So it's sort of like the routers we have in here.
Yeah, like a projector, except for way smaller.
So you're a very technical company. When you're charging something at distance, you've got a fair amount of electromagnetic radiation going on. Is that going to affect a pacemaker? Are there technical hurdles that you're currently facing, or have you been able to conquer most or all of it? Is this a proven concept or a great idea that we need to continue to research?
Well, we have talked to Shane. He knows a lot about engineering because he's a master electrical engineer, and there is technology that we can use that won't interfere with pacemakers or.
My understanding, which is minimal, is that this is a very low level of signal, and it takes a long time to charge, though it's effective. Is that your understanding? How long does it take to charge someone's dead?
Well, in our school, we have 70-minute classes. So if we used it at our school, the device would be able to charge in that amount of time. And at our middle school, there is 58-minute classes. So I believe that our device would be able to charge it in that time frame.
And also, like at our school, we use Chromebooks. And even if it is fully dead, if you connect it to a power source to charge it, you can turn it on right away.
So how much does it cost to build the prototype, or did you already build that?
It costs like around, I would say, $70.
Why do you guys sell it for 25 grand if you can sell for the ability?
Well, the plan is like, so if a school has under 20 classrooms, then there's a set price that they'll pay for the amount of units for each classroom in their school. So that's why the prices are large, because they take into account all of the classrooms in the school. And if a school has like, say like 5 classrooms, we'll make a special plan for them so they won't have to pay such a large price.
And also that large price includes the 20% profit.
Because I'll buy like 6 of them. You gotta put them for $70 in my house. I'll put them all in my house.
Yeah, and the prices, I calculated the tax. They include tax too.
Are schools buying this now? Are they buying like from your competitors now? What are they doing now?
Well, it's like a really big problem at our school that students, they come to their classes with it uncharged, and a lot of the time teachers only have one charger because they have their own school issued Chromebook, And so if more than one student in the class doesn't have their device charged, then one of them is going to fall behind. So no, our school has not, and I don't believe any other schools.
Any remaining questions?
It's great that you identified a problem and you're trying to solve it.
Thank you.
Good job, thank you.
All right. In third place, and the winner of $100, Matthew Hall. All right. The second place and winner of $250 is Mike Henry. And in first place, and the winner of $500, Claire Darmstadler.